But under your tenure, there were reports of extrajudicial killings, the discovery of bodies in River Yala. Is there any responsibility that you personally accept?
No, because you see, today, actually I was counting this last time when I was member in this, and I knew you would ask me this question. So I counted how many times I've answered it. Today's going to be the 6th time I'm talking about it in public. You know, in the security sector, and I want to go over this very slowly, the most demanding of responsibilities for any government is security sector responsibilities. One, because the president's foremost responsibility constitutionally is to protect the lives of the people of Kenya. And secondly, then the president vests some of that in his Minister for Interior and Coordination of National Government, in our case, who actually sits in the office of the president, who's a minister in the office of the president. And then the minister coordinates. I'm careful about my words, not supervisors, because we're in the context of a new constitution where the police department is an independent institution under the law, superintended over by Chapter 15 commission called the National Police Service Commission. The minister actually, unlike it used to happen in the past, the minister cannot willy-nilly appoint, fire, or move a police officer of any rank under the law. So what happens is the minister coordinates on behalf of the president and then reports to the National Security Council. And responsibilities in the security sector are both individual and collective. And that is why, I don't know whether people know this, the police have got, this size of standing orders that guide actions of the police and so on. Because the theory or the ideology of policing in our country is civilian supervised, and it's intended to keep law and order. Because we are not in a hostile environment, we are not at war. So the role of the police is basically to keep law and order and to keep the country secure. What that means is that the police are trained, hired, and they know that every responsibility they take is graduated either at a collective level, that's why the commander takes responsibility, or some of it is individual in terms of how they act from one point of time to another. So crimes happen. And that is why the police have standing orders. It's because everyone knows that an individual police officer may actually act outside of the law or outside of the standing orders. Just like even in a church, the clergy have got canonical provisions on how they will conduct themselves, so that when a member of the clergy is involved in an extramarital affairs, is disciplined based on those particular laws. Also, in the security sector, that is how it works. That is why in the police department, there is what is called an orderly room proceeding. When police have done certain things, they are disciplined within the police service. In the case of the military, it's a court-martial and so on. So when actions happen, and most of these actions are criminal or they are against the law, then the law takes its course. I said this several times before, I'm saying it again today, and I'll say it all the time in my life, that when actions have taken that are against the law have taken place in government, we go to investigations and go the direction the investigations take us. The Minister for Interior is not above the law. I have actually never been above the law in all my life. Even when I was Minister for Interior, I was never above the law, because the law is very clear. If you commit certain offenses, you are prosecuted. And every time we acted, for me and many other ministers in government, that is why we have the Office of the Attorney General. When you are not sure about what you are doing, you consult the Honorable the Attorney General. The Attorney General, in many cases, for example, Professor Githu Muigai, a fantastic lawyer that everyone knows, or retired Justice Kiara Kariuki was our Attorney General, a fantastic guy, very respected jurist. We would go to them, and Justice Kiara will tell you, on this particular one, you only have sentiment, you don't have the law with you, so you can't act, or something like that. So let me go back to the case of Yala. Reports came, as I've said before, that bodies have been found. Just like reports come and say a body was found in a trench near Kawasukari, or two bodies were found in a trench on Mombasa Road or some other place. The first action is investigation by the police. When it happens at a scale that is worrisome, it actually immediately captures the attention of the national security infrastructure. First through the National Security Advisory Committee, NSAC, and then the National Security Council. This matter came. The DCI, the National Security Council, which is chaired by the president, demanded of the police and the DCI of answers on what was going on. Then, at that particular time, we even explored the possibility of an inquest, because if you don't understand what is going on, you have to open a fully fledged inquest to see whether it's a systematic action that is going on, like now in the case of Shakahola and so on. That demanded a fully fledged inquiry to find out what was going on. So in this case of Yala, we even as NSC asked it, can we actually have a fully fledged inquest into this particular matter, chaired by a magistrate or whatever the case may be? But then the police said, no, but we have bodies. You see, when you have bodies, it means you have a point of departure to conduct investigations. We will examine the bodies, we will do postmortem, we will get the reports, and we will open the files. Because if we have the body of a guy called Mr. XYC, and then we have the report, we go now to start investigating, go to his family and say, where was this fellow? Where did he disappear? And what happened? And so on. We piece the pieces together. And finally, conduct an investigation that points out to us how this person met their death and how their body was found in Yala. Now, when the police said that an investigation would begin, that is why, and again for the 6th time today, I'm going to say, if anybody is in doubt or does not trust the work of the DCI, let us have a public inquest. I'm willing to go there tomorrow myself, and anyone else who was involved. And I hope even all members of the National Security Council that I served with, so that every one of us says what they know. Because when you go before that inquest, you will say what you know. This is what I know, this is my role. And then a determination will be made who actually has responsibility for this.